Hello all, welcome back to Time to Dice Character Creation, where we make your favorite fictional characters in Pathfinder and Starfinder 2nd Edition. Today, we're building the Fantastic Four's very own thing. Ben Grimm was your everyday, ordinary pilot. That is until he was caught in a cosmic storm in his best friend's experimental spacecraft that gave both him and everyone else aboard superpowers. Unfortunately, life isn't fair. While everyone else's superpowers made them get bigger and hotter, Ben got turned into a big ugly rock monster. And unlike the others, his powers didn't turn off, making even Sue's ability to be unseen seem remarkable by comparison. Eventually, Ben was able to come to terms with his new form, and became a founding member of the Fantastic Four, where he used his newfound strength to protect his family. So beware of spoilers, and without further ado, let's rock and roll. So what do we need to play the Grim Reaper? Well, first things first, a rocky body that grants us both super strength and super durability is a must. What's that? A Marvel superhero with super strength? Shocking, I know. Next, we need to be unbreakable. Not just in body, but in mind. Many of the strongest heroes in the Marvel Universe have pointed out that what truly makes the thing so resilient isn't just his stone-hard exterior, but also his sheer, unrelenting willpower. And finally, it's clobbering time. Need I say more? Oh, I should? Well, we want to be able to punch things. Like, really, really hard. For our Ancestry, we'll be sticking with what Ben Grimm was before he went full grapple mode. And yes, that means we're doing yet another human build. You know the drill by now. 8 hit points, medium size, an attribute boost to both strength and con. Luckily, that means being entirely made of stone won't slow us down though. Our speed remains 25 feet per stride. And we'll be picking up the Aureate heritage, representing our earthen-infused powers. This grants us low light vision right now, and opens the door for some rock-solid Aureate feats later on. For our background, we'll be drawing from Ben's college days. He earned his way through university on a football scholarship. That makes a star athlete background a perfect fit. It gives us another boost of strength and con, as well as training in athletics and games lore, as well as the assurance skill feat for our athletics, ensuring that we never have a bad day, whether on the football field or the battlefield. When we would roll an athletics check, we can choose to skip the roll entirely, and instead take a result of 10 plus a proficiency bonus, ignoring all other modifiers, making Ben a reliable, dependable thing. For our class, we'll be going with a newly released Guardian class. So are we making this video to celebrate the new Fantastic Four movie coming out later this week, or because we're excited about the new Guardian class? Well, why not both? As a Guardian, we get 12 plus a Constitution modifier hit points per level, tying us for the highest hit point total of any class in the game. We're only trained in Perception, but we do get expert proficiency in both Fortitude and Will saves, giving us an unbreakable mind and body. Unfortunately, our hefty form only earns us trained proficiency in reflex saves. All Guardians are trained in Athletics by default, but since we already got that from our background, we'll swap it out for Society. We'll also take Occultism, because the Fantastic Four are Earth's cosmic defenders, Piloting, for Ben's career as a pilot, and Diplomacy, because convincing the public that you're a hero when you look like a brick wall isn't exactly easy. We get access to all simple martial weapons, and can wear any type of armor, or go unarmored. But here's the thing. The Guardian class is designed under the assumption they'll be wearing medium or heavy armor. Obviously, Ben doesn't need armor. His rocky exterior is defensive enough. That said, I would still recommend wearing armor early on and simply reflavoring it as your skin, as it's needed for some of these abilities to work. We'll get something later that lets us go armorless if you really don't want to rock any gear, but just know that going all natural will make the early game a bit tougher. For our attributes, we're starting with strength at a +3. While Ben definitely has super strength, there are still plenty of characters in the Marvel Universe who can hit harder. Dexterity comes in at a +1. Surprisingly, being made entirely of rock doesn't slow Ben down much, but unfortunately, he was never the most agile guy to begin with. Constitution is at a +3. Durability is the name of the game, and the thing has brought all the cheat codes. Intelligence and wisdom are both going to start out at +1. Ben made his way through university and even became an astronaut, but let's be honest, it's hard to shine when you're standing next to Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Finally, charisma is at a +0. The thing definitely had the roughest time with public perception, especially early on, before he proved that beneath his rocky exterior was a heart of gold. A brand new class means brand new class features, so let's dive on in. At level 1, Guardians gain Guardian's Armor. While wearing medium or heavy armor, we gain physical resistance equal to 1 plus half our level, and we can rest normally in that armor. Remember, if you're a stickler for flavor and don't want to wear actual armor yet, you'll have to wait a bit to make use of this, but it will still be useful by the end. We also get Shield Block, which lets us use our reaction to reduce incoming physical damage with a shield that we've already raised. Ben doesn't exactly carry a shield, but maybe your GM will let you reflavor a ripped off car door or a piece of debris. Creativity counts in this game. With the taunt feature, we can make a gesture or shout to provoke a creature within 30 feet. If that creature targets our allies but not us with an attack, it takes a -1 penalty to its attack rolls and DCs for that action, and it becomes off guard until our next turn. Only one creature can be taunted at a time, so use this on Victor and let Reed take care of the Doombots. Next, we get 2 Guardian techniques. Ever Ready means we're always ready to jump into action. Instead of waiting for our first turn, we gain a reaction immediately upon rolling initiative, but we can only use this reaction for Guardian features, like Intercept Strike, which allows us to protect our allies. When an ally within 10 feet takes physical damage, we can step to an adjacent space and take the damage instead, applying our own resistances, weaknesses, and immunities. And if the source of the damage is our taunted enemy, we can use this out to a range of 15 feet, striding instead of stepping, as long as we still end the stride adjacent to an ally. Ben may be the easiest member of the team to hit, but he's also the hardest to damage, so he can afford to take a few extra punches. Finally, thanks to the Natural Ambition Ancestry feat, we get 2 level 1 class feats. With Larger Than Life, we're treated as one size larger when using or being targeted by actions like Disarm, Grapple, Reposition, Shove, Trip, or Swallow Whole. Ben's size of the thing has always been up for debate. Maybe this feat helps explain why. And with the Shoulder Check class feat, we slam into a foe with our armor and throw them off balance. We make a fist strike, and on its success, the target becomes off guard against our next melee attack this turn. And on our critical success, they're off guard against all our melee attacks until the end of our next turn. Just beware though, because on a critical failure, we become off guard against the target's melee attacks until the end of our next turn. At level 2, we become even harder to ignore, thanks to the Hampering Stance feat. While we're in this stance, all enemies treat squares within a 5-foot emanation around us as difficult terrain, making it much harder for foes to give us the runaround and start targeting our squishier allies. For our skill feat, we pick up Titan Wrestler, letting us disarm, grapple, reposition, shove, or trip creatures up to 2 size categories larger than us, or 3 size categories larger than us once we reach legendary proficiency in athletics. Level 3 Guardians are tough to kill, which means their dying threshold is increased to dying 5 instead of dying 4. And additionally, the first time each day that we would be reduced to dying 3 or higher, we instead stay at dying 2. Ever try to kill a stone? It usually doesn't go well. And since we're making ourselves tougher to take down, we might as well grab the Toughness feat as well, increasing our hit points by 1 per level, and lowering the DC of any recovery checks we have to make by 1. Oh no, we've already taken 3 whole feats from our class without grabbing an archetype. So at level 4, we're going to jump over to the Martial Artist archetype with the Martial Artist Dedication to upgrade our damage dice of our fists from D4s to D6s, and allow us to ignore the non-lethal trait on our fist attacks. Ben isn't one of those dark, gritty heroes who always kills his opponents, but giant rock hands make it pretty hard to hold back sometimes. We also got the powerful Leap skill feat, which lets us make an embattled leap, adding 5 feet of horizontal movement every time we perform a high jump, long jump, or leap. The thing may look a bit too big and bulky to pick up much airtime, but his super strength lets him lift up to 85 tons, and his own cannon weight is only about 500 pounds, so I think he's got this. Level 5 Guardians gain both weapon expertise and unbreakable expertise, granting us expert proficiency on both our strikes and our armor class when wearing medium and heavy armor. The Noble Resolve Ancestry feat brings us one step closer to Ben's legendary willpower by giving us a +1 circumstance bonus to will saves against mental effects. Additionally, we always become aware of who targeted us with that mental effect, as long as they're visible. At level 6, we'll be moving back to the Guardian feats. With Lockdown, Ben's not just a wall, he's a cage. When we strike an enemy, if we hit and deal damage, that enemy can't use move actions to leave our reach until the start of our next turn, until we move, or until we attack again with that same weapon. Charge in, land a punch, and stop more mobile targets like Venom or Spider-Man. I'm talking about Marvel Rivals, of course. In most other situations, Spider-Man's a good guy. You definitely shouldn't try to fight him. We also grabbed a hefty Holler skill feat, increasing our maximum and encumbered bulk limits by 2. But don't let Johnny use this as an excuse to turn you into his pack mule. Level 7 Guardians gain Reflex Expertise and the Reaction Time feature, increasing our Perception proficiency to Expert, and at the start of each turn, we gain an extra reaction that can only be used for Guardian feats and features like Shield Block or Intercept Strike. For our general feat, we'll pick up Ancestral Paragon to get the Steady on Stone Ancestry feat, allowing us to ignore difficult terrain caused by rubble or uneven stone and earth. And when we balance on such surfaces using acrobatics, we're no longer off guard, and successes count as critical successes. We pick up Mountain Stance at level 8, allowing us to enter a stance where the only strikes we can make are falling stone unarmed attacks. These deal 1d8 bludgeoning damage and have the forceful, non-lethal, and unarmed traits. While we're in Mountain Stance, we gain a +4 item bonus to AC, and a +2 circumstance bonus to resist reposition, shove, trip, and similar force movement effects. However, our dexterity modifier to AC is capped off at a +0, and all of our speeds are reduced by 5 feet. Our mobility is not all bad though, because we get the wall jump skill feat at this level as well, letting us push off a wall at the end of a jump to avoid falling as long as our next action is another jump. That jump becomes a single action, which of course doesn't include a stride. Have you ever seen a living boulder do parkour? Well, honestly, me neither, but it seems like it'd be fun to watch. At level 9, we get the multi-talented Ancestry feat to pick up the Kineticist dedication, granting us the Elemental Blast action. But before you get too excited, this blast doesn't scale with us as we level, and we don't have enough free feats to manually scale it, making this dedication a bit of a waste for now. Still, we will need it for something a little bit later. Level 9 Guardians also gain Guardian Expertise, bumping our class DC up to Expert, and Battle Hardened. Our proficiency with medium and heavy armor increases to Master, while our proficiency with light and unarmored defense rises to Expert. Level 10 is finally the point where those who didn't want to wear armor finally get to start using all those Guardians' new features. The Through the Gate feat grants us the Armor and Earth ability, allowing us to summon a suit of heavy stone armor to us at any time. This armor uses our highest armor proficiency and has the following stats: a plus 5 AC bonus, a plus 1 dexterity cap, a plus 3 strength requirement, and it belongs to the plate group. Any runes that we're wearing that are compatible with our stone armor are automatically replicated on top of it. Now, we can choose to enter Mountain Stance for a slightly higher offensive output and increased resistance to enemy attempts to move us, or combine Armor and Earth and Hampering Stance to fully lock down foes at the cost of a little bit less damage. Level 11 Guardians get Weapon Specialization, giving us a boost to our damage. We also get Unbreakable Mastery, increasing our proficiency rank with medium and heavy armor to Master, and our proficiency with light armor and unarmored defense to Expert. And with the Streetwise skill feat, we can use our Society instead of Diplomacy to gather information. And in Familiar Settlements, we can use Recall Knowledge with Society to learn similar information instantly, because I don't think Galactus is going to wait around while you ask people for advice. If you thought we were hard to take down before, just wait until we pick up the Tough Cookie class feat at level 12. Once per day, when our current hit points is half or less, we can activate this ability to gain temporary hit points equal to half our maximum hit points for 1 minute, basically putting us right back at full hit points. We also got the Criminal Connection skill feat, which lets us return to our Yancey Street roots. In the settlement where we've established ourselves, we can roll a society check to meet up with a criminal leader and ask for a favor, though it comes with the price of a future favor. The GM sets the DC based off the request difficulty and the figure's importance. Even the Fantastic Four knows that sometimes you've got to call in a few favors, or maybe even owe a few. Shaitan Skin at level 13 lets us cast Stone Skin on ourselves 3 times per day, granting us resistance 5 to physical damage for 20 minutes. This doesn't stack with your Guardian's Armor feature, but it is useful for those times when you want to go into Mountain Stance for a little bit defensive boost, even when we're focusing on our offenses. We also get Weapon Mastery for increased proficiency with the big guns. You know, I meant that in the script as our fists, but technically there's nothing stopping us from using big guns either. At level 14, we take the Keep Up the Good Fight class feat. Once per hour, when an enemy reduces us to 0 hit points, but doesn't immediately kill us, our determination to protect others keeps us going. Instead of being knocked out, we drop to 1 hit point, increase our wounded condition by 1, and gain temporary hit points equal to our level that lasts for a round. Ben's not just tough, he's stubborn enough to keep fighting even when the chips are down. With Eyes of the City, we can track down our opponents with the help of the locals, using our Society skill to track creatures within settlements. By using this feat, we follow the trail through word of mouth, but that does mean that someone had to have seen our target in the first place. At level 15, Guardians unlock Unbreakable Legend to boost our armor class proficiency ranks. Medium and heavy armor increase to legendary, and our light armor and unarmored defense rise to master proficiency. For our skill feat at this level, we'll get Leverage Connections. Once per week, if we're in an area where we've established connections, we can use our Society skill to request a favor fitting the group. On a critical success, we gain advice from that creature, getting a +2 bonus on the first related skill check. At this point, we are usually the friend in high places, but this will help out if you have to ask the Avengers or the X-Men for help. At level 16, we get the class feat Clobber. We can strike a foe with a mighty blow that deals an extra weapon die, and if it hits and deals damage, we automatically shove the target, applying all the shove effects of our attack roll, and knock them prone. I feel like there's some kind of joke I should be making here, but I can't for the life of me think of one. So I'll just distract you by moving on to the Cloud Jump skill feat, which triples our long jump distance and lets us high jump as long as we could previously long jump, letting us defy not just expectations, but also gravity. Guardians get Greater Weapon Specialization at level 17, which finally catches us up to the damage boost that other martials get. An Unyielding Resolve makes our mind as strong as our body. Our proficiency in will save increases to master, and when we succeed at a will save, we treat it as a critical success. When your body's a fortress and your mind's a battlement, you're basically unbeatable. Finally, the Heroic Presence feat lets us inspire our allies, granting them temporary hit points and a +2 status bonus to will saves against mental effects. Ben's not just throwing punches, he's throwing morale boosts too. At level 18, we're going to backtrack a bit to grab the Energy Interceptor class feat. letting us use intercept attack when an ally would take acid, cold, electricity, fire, or sonic damage, not just physical damage. That's a nice bonus, especially since Doom has a wide variety of plans to take us out, and I don't think many of them involve a fist fight. We also dive into Ben's pilot side with the Push It skill feat from Starfinder. Whenever we succeeded a piloting check, the vehicle we're piloting gains a plus 5 foot circumstance bonus to all of its speeds until the end of our turn, and on a critical success, this bonus increases to plus 10 feet. At level 19, we can step through difficult terrain with the Feather Step general feat, allowing us to step without being hindered by any circumstance. The feat describes this as more nimble grace, but I consider it you literally bulldozing your way through the battlefield. We also gain Guardian Mastery, which increases our proficiency rank in our Guardian class DC to Master. And while wearing armor, we can use that armor's item bonus to AC in place of our dexterity modifier on reflex saves to avoid damaging effects like Fireball. If the armor has the Bulwark trait, we increase this bonus by 1. And finally, if we succeeded a save using this option, it counts as a critical success instead. If the armor has the Bulwark trait, we increase this bonus by 1. And finally, if we succeeded a save using this option, and finally, at level 20, we take the Unyielding Force class feat. So while wearing medium or heavy armor, the resistance we gain from Guardian's armor increases to 6 plus half our level. And to finish off this build, the Fantastic Four come in contact with a lot of alien races, so the Fly Anything skill feat will let us commandeer a vehicle on an alien planet for a speedy getaway. From fist to flight, the Thing is ready to rock any situation on Earth or beyond. Thanks for joining us on this rocky ride to build the Thing in Pathfinder 2e. Whether you're ready to clobber your way through battles, or just want to bring a little Marvel magic to your game, this build has you covered. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any future character creations. Got ideas for other iconic heroes or villains that you want to see? Drop them in the comments below, and maybe you'll see them in the next video. Till next time, keep rolling high, and we'll catch you in the next one.